The following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting at Western Illinois University.
Ballot boxes are being stuffed today as it's election day here in Macomb. Steve Wailand will be around for a few more weeks as there still has not been a decision involving the 2nd Ward Alderman seat winner. And enjoy this weather while you can. We may be seeing snow later on in the week. Scott's forecast is ahead.
Welcome to NEWS3 Live at 4. News with Adam Yingst and with Jack Pluta. Sports with Nico Haeflinger. And weather forecasts from our team of meteorology students at Western Illinois University. NEWS3 starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4. I'm Jack Pluta.
And I'm Chris Lovingood in for Adam Yingst. It's election day for McDonough County as officials will be taking seats all across the county.
Macomb races for aldermanic and school board seats will be up for election. Macomb residents will be electing 3 new members for the Macomb School Board. Candidates chasing the 3 open seats include Ardell Thompson and Robert Schaus, as well as Leslie Weston, Sterling Sadler, Matthew Clark, John Adams, Jill Myers, and James LaPrade. Residents living in Ward 5 and Ward 2 will be choosing who will represent them on the City Council. The 5th Ward Alderman seat will be between incumbents Clay Hinderleiter and Tim Lubdell. The 2nd Ward will be voting for either Kay Hill or Steve Wailand, but due to an ongoing court case, results will not be released until after the case is settled. That controversy over Macomb's 2nd Ward election result is heading to court. Judge Rodney Clark has ordered a full trial after Wailand filed a lawsuit over the election results. Candidate Steve Wailand is contesting the election results, and Judge Clark has given the city a chance to present additional information about it. Wailand says he should have been declared winner over incumbent Kay Hill. In the February election, Wailand received 17 votes compared to Hill, who received only 16. Macomb officials say in order to receive that seat, Wailand needed 50% plus 1 vote to win the election. He came in just under that number by 0.5%. The results of Tuesday's supplementary election for the contested race will be sealed until after the trial. If the city does win the trial, the election results will determine the alderman seat. The trial will start April 26 at 9 a.m. in the county courthouse.
Also in local news, he's a famous music businessman, and he came back to the WIU Monday. Martin Atkins came home to Macomb to talk about his experience that spans over 3 decades in the industry. Atkins spoke in front of a packed crowd to talk about his book, Band Smart and Tour Smart. He has worked with numerous bands and record labels, including 9 Inch Nails, and he appeared on American Bandstand. Atkins funded his newest book, Band Smart, through the Kickstarter program. It allows fans to fund his projects and has changed marketing music. Atkins has spoken around the world at conferences.
Kickstarter actually marketing process for you, right? Because if people are going to invest, then you're almost pre-selling them the product before it exists. So it's put the emphasis back on great products that inspire, ideas that inspire people. That's how you get people's attention.
Atkins has spoken around the world at conferences, universities, and many concerts, including the Warped Tour. Most of us have had it happen one time or another. Your computer crashes and you lose vital information. Western Illinois University is constantly working hard to reduce your chances of data loss. So, Western will be offering sensitive data handling training tomorrow morning. The session is an introduction to privacy issues and provides guidance to reduce data loss. It will also include information about how to protect yourself from identity theft. The event starts at 10 in the Mall Press Library, room 180.
If you're like most college students, it's probably been a while since you bought music on a CD. That's because so many in our generation get their music online. But Live at 4's Joey Mesnick reports you need to make sure downloads are legal or there could be a big price to pay.
Many of you don't realize that when you download or torrent your music online, that it's actually illegal. File trading has become widespread over the years and has really taken a toll on the music business in general. Even record stores are slowly going out of business due to low record sales in recent years. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act was created in 1998 to stop people from performing these acts.
So when people are copying songs for non-commercial uses, that's okay for their private use, but once they are copying them for other people, then that is avoiding purchase for somebody else, and it's also illegally distributing. So,
even on websites like YouTube, the site itself is responsible for locating and removing any illegally uploaded videos or MP3s when notified. Music is only allowed if the artist themselves puts their songs online. The most recent case involved a woman named Jamie Thomas Rassett, who illegally downloaded over 1,700 songs. She forced 2 retrials where she was ordered to pay $222,000. What other ways has the government tried to stop online piracy?
the Stop Online Piracy Act was created so it would allow or inspire internet service providers in the U.S. to become more of a policing function and not let searchers who are using their search engine to have access to these pirate sites.
The Recording Industry Association of America is still trying to come up with new ideas to at least slow down music piracy. New forms of music listening have been sprouting over the years, such as music radio stations like Pandora and Spotify. This will help the copyright owners receive their fair share of royalties and keep you out of trouble.
Thank you, Joey. Next week, Joey will have a report on the law regarding movies and DVDs. Do you have the right to make a backup copy of your favorite DVDs? Tune in next week for the story. Today marks the first ever Mayor's Day of recognition for national service, and the Macomb community has been a recipient of national service work for many years. This day highlights the impact of AmeriCorps and Senior Corps programs. Volunteers from these programs have been used by the city in a variety of ways. Mayor Mike Inman signed the proclamation Friday. Your water bill might be going up in the near future. The city of Macomb is considering increasing water rates by 3% this year. Macomb and Colchester are in a water purchase agreement, and prices have more than doubled since it began 10 years ago. Representatives from Colchester voiced their concerns about the ordinance last night at the Committee of the Whole meeting.
On behalf of the residents of the City of Colchester, we urge you to forego an increase this year. If you feel that you must increase the rates charged to Macomb residents, then we urge that you limit the increase on those residents to those residents only, and not to increase water rates charged to water consumers outside city limits, including the City of Colchester.
A final vote for the ordinance is scheduled for next Monday's City Council meeting.
It's always an entertaining event. The Gwendolyn Brooks Dance Troupe will be having their spring concert tomorrow night. The show will be in the Union Grand Ballroom. This showcase is entitled Dangerous, Turn on the Lights. Doors open at 7 p.m. with the show beginning at 7:30 p.m. All minors must be accompanied by a guardian. And temperatures have been on the rise lately. Here's a look at students around campus enjoying the warm weather. Now let's go to Scott for our first look at weather. Scott?
For the first look, Macomb, we woke up with some clouds. Those clouds pushed off to the east, allowing for that springtime sun to warm it up to 77 degrees. But as this cold front is approaching us, we might have an opportunity for some snow. Overnight, this is a forecasted reflectivity for about 1 a.m. And as you can see in the Macomb area, we've got a little bit of precip, and it doesn't stop until the next day, giving way to showers and thunderstorms, a low of 62, winds out of the south, and up to a ½ inch of rain. That's all I have for now, but stay tuned the next 10 minutes, and I'll let you in on when we can expect this snow. Back to you, Jack and Chris.
Thanks for that, Scott. It finally feels like spring outside, but inside campus buildings, it may be feeling a little bit warmer than you'd like. That's because the university hasn't switched over to air conditioning yet. There's a reason. The heating and cooling system is very delicate. If it's changed over from heating to air conditioning too soon, it could cause the system to fail, and that could result in a 6 to 8 week wait for replacement parts. The university requires 3 consecutive days with 80 degrees or higher and no lows below 50. The extended forecast must also not show any forecasts below normal. If you feel an area in a building is uncomfortably warm, you can contact your building representative.
Your education at Western can take you around the world, literally. The Study Abroad Information Meeting is going on right now in the Algonquin Room on the first floor of the University Union. Study Abroad has programs available in more than 50 countries. Anyone interested in the Study Abroad can contact the Center of International Studies.
And this weekend is the Western Illinois Horn Festival. It begins on Saturday, April 13th, and will feature guest artists, lecturers, and clinics with rehearsals. On Sunday, April 14th, there will be a final recital at 7:30 p.m. A full schedule and additional information can be found on the WIU webpage. Also in Western news, a unique collection of art from WIU is going on the road. The Federal Art Project will be shown at the Feig Art Museum in Davenport, Iowa from September 14th through January 5th. The collection was formed in the 1930s. The works were used to decorate classrooms, hallways, and other public spaces on campus. The collection will return to the Macomb campus in January.
Here's some good news. There's some relief at the pumps. Gas prices around Macomb have been dropping for several weeks now. Around Illinois, gas is averaging $3.76, but here in Macomb, it's way below average at $3.46 at many gas stations. Macomb is also below the national average for gas, which stands at $3.56 a gallon. And coming up on Thursday, tune in for our Pet of the Week segment where we feature a dog or cat up for adoption at the McDonough County Animal Shelter. News 3 anchor Jessica Aducey visits each week to bring our community a closer look at local animals that need a home. We'll have the story Thursday here on Live at 4.
After the break, we'll let you know how the world is remembering former British leader Margaret Thatcher.
And friends and family say goodbye to one of the greatest movie critics of all time.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
Look, honey, the neighbors just bought a big screen TV.
Hey, I just got a bonus at work. Maybe we should get one too.
Hold on there.
Savings Man.
Using your bonus to secure your future by paying down debt or saving is a better way to go.
Well, I declare you're right, Savings Man.
Stay ahead by choosing to save. And don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses.
But their name is Johnson.
For more tips and tools, visit choosetosave.org today.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today, and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Winston, just one more inning, Grandma.
Ever notice how many things today kids can do without actually moving? A whole lot of things their parents used to do the hard way. So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part, which makes exercise even more important for children. In fact, new research tells us the best time to enhance bone development is during childhood and adolescence. And just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Healthy bones come from healthy habits. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Welcome back. Former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher passed away yesterday. World leaders and former colleagues are reacting to the Iron Lady's passing. Richard Quest has more on Thatcher's historic yet polarizing tenure as Britain's top government official.
Number 10 Downing Street in London, the home of the British Prime Minister, where Margaret Thatcher lived for more than 11 years. From the moment she walked in 1979, using the words of Sir Francis of Assisi, where there is discord, let there bring harmony, her government was one of the most controversial in British history. She reformed the industrial policy of Britain, but did so at huge cost. A violent and bitter miners' strike that lasted for over a year. A Falklands War with the Argentinians. But at the same time, along with her counterpart Ronald Reagan in the US, she reformed the UK economy. And like Reagan became Reaganomics, she had her own economic policy, Thatcherism. Margaret Thatcher was a divisive figure in British politics, and even in death, it will remain so. This is Richard Quest in London.
Thatcher's funeral will be held next Wednesday, April 17th. The service will be at St. Paul's Cathedral with full military honors, followed by a private cremation. Family, friends, and filmmakers gave Roger Ebert a final thumbs up Monday at his funeral in Chicago. The well-known movie critic died last Thursday after a long battle with cancer. Chaz Ebert said her husband would have loved having everyone together for his funeral. Ebert reviewed movies for the Chicago Sun-Times in 1967. He wrote a syndicated column and starred in the television show Siskel and Ebert at the Movies.
The U.S. isn't the only country preparing for a possible missile launch from North Korea. Japan has deployed Patriot missile defense systems at 3 sites around Tokyo early this morning. Most believe North Korea is years away from having operational nuclear missiles, but the country may have weapons that would affect surrounding countries such as Japan and South Korea. Both of those countries are home to thousands of U.S. soldiers.
After the break, we'll let you know if we can get used to this beautiful spring weather.
Or if Jack Frost is planning on making any more unexpected visits.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and 1 person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Something's not right. My first symptoms were
constant tingling in my toes,
had double vision. They said you have multiple sclerosis.
Kind of had to get a grasp on reality.
I had to adapt and change very rapidly.
I had to learn how to drive with my hands. Yeah, that was interesting.
A symptom may cause you not to be able to do that anymore. And at one point, I wasn't able to do any of those.
Since I've been cycling, it's definitely helped my walking.
It's a fantastic opportunity to be working together with a common goal of curing MS, and sharing is the key.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
I'm a big believer in the power of we. We can tackle the tough challenges we face and build community through service and volunteering. It's time for you to raise your hand. Go to serve.gov and get involved in something you believe in.
How will you raise your hand when they call your name?
Are you with me?
We weren't born to follow.
Tomorrow we can expect some severe thunderstorms with a high of 69, a low of 45, and winds out of the south. Tomorrow, this is a forecasted radar reflectivity for about 6 p.m. tomorrow, and as you can see in our area, we've got some severe thunderstorms. There are 3 things to worry about with these severe thunderstorms. One is straight line winds. The second one, if you have strong enough updrafts, you can see some hail. And last but not least, if this system becomes isolated enough, we can see some rotation, and rotation means tornadoes. As you can see our surface, we have a little bit of precip out in front of this warm front. And this cold front right here, this is the factor that the SPC has put out a slight risk for tornadoes for today, tomorrow, and part of Thursday. If this cold front, if it passes with, it's cold enough, we could see some flurries come Thursday night. Our almanac, the high today of 79, much warmer than the April norm of 52, and nearly record-breaking of 83 set back in 2001. Our low of 62, much warmer than the norm of 40, and much warmer than the record of 18 degrees set back in 1997. Our sunrise at 6:32, we are over 13 hours of daylight. Our regional tips, it is 60 degrees in Des Moines, 78 in Columbia, 80 degrees in St. Louis, 72 in Moline, 75 in Springfield, and a chilly 60 degrees in Chicago. Our weekly outlook, 90% chance of precip and thunderstorms tomorrow. High of 69, low of 45. Thursday, high of 46, 40% chance of precip. And as that low gets down to near freezing, we could see some flurries come Thursday evening. Friday, high of 48, low of 29. Saturday, 30% chance of precip, high of 54, low of 40. Sunday, high of 65 and low of 48.
Beautiful weather outside. Thank you again for that, Scott. You know, I think I saw some people outside playing basketball yesterday. It's good weather.
Yeah, basketball. The national championship was a good one. What do you got for us, Nico?
Well, I got to tell you, the game did not disappoint at all last night. Just an incredible national championship game last night. Highlights of that, as well as highlights from the Cubs and Cards home openers, coming up next on Sports.
It is so easy to give back.
I don't have a lot of money to help people, but I do have something. I have time.
Get up and do something.
Just imagine how strong a society we could be.
Every one of us has a role to play in making our communities and our country stronger. Discover yours. Help us continue to make a difference in the life of our nation. Go to serve.gov and find the opportunity that works for you. And this message is brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service.
Stop. Whether it's on the way to school, at school, or online, bullying has become a non-stop threat to our youth today. Is your child being bullied? The National Runaway Switchboard can help. If you're having a hard time, get online or call to chat now.
The NCAA's March Madness tournament came to a close last night with Louisville taking on Michigan. Michigan looking to become the first 4 seed to win the national championship, and they got off to a great start. But heading into the highlights, there's Kevin Ware on crutches before the game, the team dedicating the game to him. There's Michigan getting fired up as well. They got off to a hot start in this game. Freshman Spike Albrecht hitting a 3 right there. He had a career game. Minutes later, he's going to hit another 3 that puts Michigan up by 10. Louisville down very early on, but they've had some big comebacks this season. Luke Hancock, he hits a 3 of his own to answer. Cool Hand Luke led Louisville with 22, including 14 straight in the first half. Louisville now gets it to within 1, gets the steal, and heading down the court, it's oop time. They took a 1-point lead into the half. Gonna take a look at this one once again. Just check out the elevation right there. Really gave Louisville a big spark heading into the second half. And that's where the National Player of the Year, Trey Burke, is trying to lead this Michigan comeback. He had a game-high 24. But Hancock once again at the top of the key. This time, Cool Hand shows off the passing skills, hitting Peyton Siva for the alley-oop. Talk about a top 10 play. Final minutes, Louisville grabbing offensive board after offensive board and finally getting able to cash it in there. They went on to win 82-76, their 3rd national championship in school history and the first since 1986. Rick Pitino capped off a historic day where he was inducted into the Hall of Fame with his 2nd national championship and his first since leading Kentucky to a title in 1996. Pitino was the first coach to ever win a championship with 2 different schools. Heading over to Major League Baseball, opening day at Wrigley Field, Edwin Jackson making his Wrigley debut, taking on division rival Milwaukee Brewers, who were losers of 5 straight. Jumping into the game, though, Ryan Braun back in the lineup for the Brewers. He's missed 3 straight, battling with neck spasms. Top of the game, he's going to hit this single up the middle. He had a very big day for the Brewers. Still in the first inning, bases loaded. Edwin Jackson misses inside. That's going to walk in a run. The Brewers went on to score 4 runs in the first inning. Braun's next at-bat in the second crushes this one to the wall in right center field. The RBI double put the Brewers up 5-0. But the Cubs trying to get a comeback late in the game. Bases loaded in the 9th. Henderson strikes out Sapelt. 2 away now. And probably the Cubs' best player up to bat, Starlin Castro. He's going to hit a high fly ball to right field, but the wind wasn't quite enough. Hung up there, and the Cubs go on to lose 7-4. Henderson picking up the save for the Brew Crew. After getting swept by the Braves, this loss makes it 4 straight for the Cubbies. They'll look to bounce back tonight. Travis Wood is on the hill for the Cubs. St. Louis Cardinals also had their home opener at Busch Stadium against the Cincinnati Reds. They look to add on to their 2-game winning streak. To the 8th inning we go. Xavier Paul at the dish for the Reds. He ties it up with this RBI single. But the 9th inning and the Reds at the plate, they just go off. Brandon Phillips, RBI double. Todd Frazier, RBI walk. Jack Hanahan, RBI single. Ryan Hannigan gets on by error, brings in a run. Cesar Izturis, RBI single. Shin-Soo Choo, 3-run double. Joey Votto drives him in. The Reds score 9 in the 9th and win 13-4. Cardinals take on the Reds again tonight at 7. Lance Lynn on the hill for the Cards. Bronson Arroyo for the Reds. PGA Tour off to a start, headed back to Augusta National Golf Club for the 77th edition of the Masters. Tiger Woods is the favorite, having recently become the #1 golfer in the world once again. But don't count out Bubba Watson. Last season, Watson defeated Louis Oosthuizen to win his first green jacket. Another notable player to keep an eye out for is 14-year-old Tianlang Wan from China. Not even in high school, the young golfer got to take part in one of the greatest tournaments in the game. Masters tees off Thursday with the honorary first 3. Some of golf legends Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and Gary Player starting off the event at 7:45. You know, it's going to be nice to get some Masters going, one of the best tournaments in all of golf.
Sure will be exciting. Thank you, Nico.
Thank you for that, Nico. After the break, we'll show you how the Nebraska Cornhuskers football team made the day for a very special fan.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
Look, honey, the neighbors just bought a big screen TV.
Hey, I just got a bonus at work. Maybe we should get one too.
Hold on there.
Savings Man.
Using your bonus to secure your future by paying down debt or saving is a better way to go.
Well, I declare you're right, Savings Man.
Stay ahead by choosing to save. And don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses.
But their name is Johnson.
For more tips and tools, visit choosetosave.org today.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today, and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Winston, just one more inning, Grandma.
Ever notice how many things today kids can do without actually moving? A whole lot of things their parents used to do the hard way. So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part, which makes exercise even more important for children. In fact, new research tells us the best time to enhance bone development is during childhood and adolescence. And just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Healthy bones come from healthy habits. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers might have a new star recruit for their football team. Jack Hoffman, who had recently been diagnosed with pediatric brain cancer, had his dreams come true when he scamped down the game for the game-winning touchdown. And that's all the news we have for today. For Nico Haeflinger, I'm Jack Pluta.
And for Scott Beckerman, I'm Chris Lovingood. Have a great evening.